How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
So you've got some safeties back healthy. How does it feel to have a little bit of a more robust room now?
Yeah, definitely sleeping better again. Having Juan come back, start to get back into the fold. Really worked hard, to get back on the field as soon as he could. Still trying to do a good job of just working through him coming back off the injury. Don't want to pile on 70 reps or anything like that. But the luxury of the room and the way that AB and his staff have built it, we can rely on those other guys, which we had to. When we had those guys down, they did a good job. So,
how important? I know safeties are important, and you don't want to diminish in other weeks, but with Baltimore's offense specifically, with what Lamar can do, Derek, and as well as that receiving core, you just go down the line of your skill. How much more important? How valuable are they going to be this week, defending everything that Baltimore can do?
Yeah, look, number one offense in the NFL, talent at all levels, and at the end of the day, when they built this roster, I know the personnel people, AB, brought people in here to be able to defend the offenses that we got to play against in this division. So the luxury and the reason that guys like Grant Delpit are here are to defend these type of players and that we see in this division, these type of tight ends, JOK, right? To be able to have him be able to match up as best you can versus a guy like Lamar. So it's very, very important to have the safety and the quality safety depth we have to be able to match up versus this type of offense to tackle the back, or the backs that you see in this division. You need those type of bigger guys, those physical safeties, but at the same time, they do such a good job. Coach Munkin does such a good job with the offense in terms of schematics that you can't just be physical brute. You got to have intelligence as well. And again, we're blessed with the people that are in this building to be able to match up with the scheme and also the personnel.
You guys are kind of the last line of defense if Derrick Henry has a full head of speed. How do you kind of prepare them to deal with him and tackle him?
You have to rely on technique that we rep every day in terms of tackling, right? The proper way. Open field tackling is an emphasis. You guys see how much, we work on that in individual. You see me with the goofy donut and standing on the bag, trying not to get chopped every time those guys come through. But the emphasis on those drills is really to make sure that you take your feet all the way to the human, the point of contact, and then a violent wrap on the finish. It's going to happen. At the safety position, a ball's going to be running at you in the open field. The hardest thing, especially with football nowadays, with the lack or the lack of contact in practice environments, as that's toned down, it's hard to rep that. So you got to find ways to rep that in practice as much as possible. We'll do it again today. Try to do it every other day at least. You just got to rely on your technique and the things you've been working on since day one of OTAs early phases into training camp.
I know Derrick Henry's a guy that sometimes makes people make business decisions. Do you guys talk about the commitment that is necessary to bring him down and face him,
Absolutely.
Especially at 1 and 6?
Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm eager to answer. The answer is absolutely. No poodles in our room. We talk about it. We want to be physical. There's no shying of contact. In our room, if you shy away from contact, D-Bell's going to say poodle in the back, and there's none of that. We have to attack this game with the mindset of solving your problems with violence, and it's going to be a physical match. It is. It doesn't matter what year or who's in the game. When these two teams lock up, it's going to be a violent, fight, and you got to match their intensity. You have to be more violent than they are willing to be to give yourself an opportunity to win the game. So 1,000% we talk about it.
Is it difficult? With a guy like that, I don't want to bring up a bad subject, but thinking back to last year, the Mika Fitzpatrick hit on Nick, a guy like that, a big, physical, strong guy, you talk about hitting too high, finding the right target zone to bring him down. How do you avoid going too low where you don't just risk your own injury, but you risk injury to the other player?
No, it's a good question. I think the biggest thing you have to understand, which is hard, people don't get this probably as much as they should. the areas of strike zones are highly dependent on the area of the field and the ball carrier in a millisecond of time. I think that's what makes these people so amazing in terms of the talent of the NFL. You know, where you track a player in terms of the target, where you're targeting and tackling, is dependent on where the ball is and who it is. So a lot of times inside of the box, where some of our second level guys like Grant, a lot of times those targets will maybe more at the chest level to above the thigh, above the waist, because you're seeing the profile of the man. But when you're on the open field like Juan or sometimes Rocket, that target may drop a little bit more to the thigh board or on the sideline where you're more in the open space. So it is really, really dependent on who it is, right, and where it is, and the angle that you have on the person that you're tackling. So it's a complex answer, but that's the reality of football, especially nowadays.
Going back to Juan, he was talking last week that, obviously last year he was dealing with the calf injury. He never felt like himself. So it was kind of important to him to get fully healed. How difficult was that to kind of balance wanting to get healthy, and also, I know he played the second half of that Dallas game with the injury.
It was hard for him last year mentally, and we spent a lot of time less coaching and a little bit more psychological work. I will say he did a much better job this year. We addressed it at the very beginning. We were open about it, his feelings, my feelings, and we just put it out in the open. Last year was tough for him, and it kind of got to him a little bit, like anyone would. Injuries are hard for these players because they love the game and want to play. So for him, it was all right. You're going to have these moments of frustration to get back on the field. Let's fight that with continuing to stay locked in meetings and asking questions as if you're going to play in the game, which I did regularly in meetings, to keep him activated mentally, to not allow his mind to drift. So it was not easy for him, for sure. He did a much better job this year of staying ready and present and locking in on a date to come back and be able to, like Jim talked about, bring reinforcements and energy and juice when we get these guys back, which I felt like we've done.
You mentioned matching up with those Ravens tight ends. What do you see out of each one of them? I know, I think Grant mentioned Likely's increased role, and Andrews is coming on lately.
Yeah, last year being my first year in the division, watching 89, I walked away from both games saying this guy is elite in his ability to move at his size, his ability to move his feet, his ability to press a DB, move his feet and swipe, and his length, and then to catch the ball. He's just truly a special player. I'll be honest with you, 80, Likely started catching my eye last year in spots, and then now it's not a secret. He is a pass catcher, but what is really admirable about him right now is his physicality in the run game. So he's becoming this truly complete player. They do a great job. I'll say their tight ends coach has done a great job in development. And you can see that really even 88, he shows up on his yards per catch. So they do a great job of developing that room, and that room's gotten better every year that I've seen. And I'm, again, told the guys, there's opportunity out there to compete against some of the best group, maybe one of the best tight end groups in the NFL.
Has Lamar somehow even taken his game up to another level this year, and just what are you seeing in him?
Absolutely. Just, again, maturation over the years, seeing him at Louisville, being in the ACC, and then now really, really grown as a player. He's definitely grown and has a good understanding of schematically, what to do. Coach Monken's done a great job, over the last 2 years of developing him and helping him grow into a new phase of his career. But his ability to just not run around and just to run, he can find players. He's moving to throw now. His understanding of getting the ball out when he needs to, his understanding of schemes and where safeties are and just knowing where to go with the ball in quick and efficient manners, really grown a lot.
You remember the first time you faced him?
Two more.
You remember the first time you faced him? What that was like?
You know what? He had just left, but I remember watching the tape getting ready for Louisville, and I'll be honest with you, I was amazed at his ability, his talent. But he's a Palm Beach kid, growing, working in that area and recruiting that area. His legend is pretty big. He's a hell of a player. He was then in high school and into college, and obviously proving himself at the highest level now. obviously a quality MVP candidate at the end of the day. One more? We're good?
Okay.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Morning.
So how did Nick do in his first game back?
Did good. I remember coming in here last week and talking to you guys about just, excitement as far as in the building and Nick getting ready to play. And the most important thing is protecting Nick from Nick. It's funny because on the sideline, when he did come off and I'm getting certain personnels ready to go in, every time I take 2 steps, he was right there. So I moved to the right, he's right there. I was like, okay. First time, I said, I'm all right. Next time I moved to the left, I turned to my right, he's right there. I'm like, Nick, how about you go, all right? So it was exciting just the energy that he brought, of course, to the stadium, the energy that he brought to the team, and being able to score a touchdown was awesome.
I know you're not preparing to face him. You don't have to game plan for him. But as a fellow running back yourself, what makes Derrick Henry so special? What do you when you've seen him play? What separates him from all the other greats?
Yeah, when you turn the film on, of course, you see a back that has great leg drive, hard to tackle, no matter if it's short yardage, no matter what the situation is. You see a good back that runs behind his pads well. But a lot of people skip over the vision. He has great vision, man. I mean, here's a guy, of course, you saw it when he was at Alabama, the way he was running those mid-zones and gap schemes. He come to the next level, and he's able to do some of the same things, but the vision is skipped over. I think he has next level vision.
Going back to Nick, when you were watching that film, did you have like a, oh, that's Nick, or Nick's back moment that stood out?
I had those in practice, just seeing him run around the way he did last week, just preparing him for the week. And I think Kevin did a great job as far as putting the plays together, making sure, once again, we protect Nick from Nick, having him as far as being a decoy, going out there and also getting the ball and not putting too much on him. I thought it was a tight game plan. But, yeah, I saw Nick last week, and I was excited for him.
He was so good. I mean, one of the top running backs in the league before the injury. Is it fair to expect him to be the same back again, given that it's two huge injuries on the same knee?
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, I do. And it's because of how hard he worked, the dedication, the commitment. A guy like that, he shuts down the building and he opens the building. And he puts in a lot of work, a lot of effort. And he's going to keep doing it until it's right. So that's fair.
He said when we talked to him Wednesday that, he saw Rust being his first game back in 13.
You saw who? I'm sorry.
Rust. He was
yeah,
rusty.
Yeah.
Coming back, he'd been 13 months. He mentioned tripping over himself. Do you think that'll go away pretty quick and he'll get back to feeling like he, having the reps that he's always had week in and week out?
Yeah, if you know Nick like I know him, he's watched that play probably 10,000 times, and he's telling himself over and over again, I got to pick my feet up. I got to pick my feet up. But that happens, and you're excited to be out there. As soon as you see a crack or something that can potentially be a hold, you go faster than usual. So Nick and I had a conversation about it, and he'll be a lot better as we go.
How about the fact that you guys are facing the #1 run defense? Is that an accurate representation of their run defense, or does it have something to do with how the games have been going?
No, that's accurate. Huge challenge in front of us. It's one you got to get up and be ready for, and you got to turn cracks into holes as running backs, and that's what we talk about in my room, being able to turn a crack into a hole and understand, just take what they give you. If it's 2 or 3 yards right there in front of you, you got to go get it. Don't be looking for the big play. The big play will come.
And what impact do you think Jameis will have on the offense this week?
You saw it in practice also, just his leadership skills, being able to get the guys together, getting the guys in and out of the huddle, just doing some of those things, and also keeping them after, going over plays, making sure everybody's on the same page. He's a good leader.
You spent a lot of time with Naheem over the last several months. How disappointing was it that he wasn't able to come back this year?
Of course, it's very disappointing when, as a player, you're working hard, you're working for the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to get back out there and play, of course, and it didn't work out for him. But, I see Naheem every day. He comes through that door into the meeting room with a smile, and he's ready to learn. Also, he's helping everybody in the room, so he's still engaged. He's not letting that bother him, and he's also working his butt off.
You talked about Nick can serve as a decoy for offense or for defenses. They're going to give him a lot of attention. Just how valuable is it to have a guy like that where defense will give him attention that can open up the game for other people on the offense?
Yeah, to be a decoy, it speaks about your body of work over the years. And we know what Nick Chubb has been around here. We know what Nick Chubb has been to the league as far as the work he's put in. But it has to be a mixture, Of course, you want him to be a decoy, but you want him to have the ball too. So Coach and I kind of talk about that. And like I said, Coach does an awesome job, man, putting him in positions where he's going to get the ball, but also be a decoy.
Along those lines, did you notice how prominent his presence was in helping the play action game this week? Because it seemed like, linebackers had to be a little bit more respecting of Nick being back there, and it seemed like some things kind of opened up for when Deshaun was out there and then when Dorian and James took over.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about, and it's one of the things that we harp on as coaches, being able to get Nick back and, to your point, with the play actions, the neck hits, the keepers, being able to show that same run action as if he's having the ball, to get those linebackers to step up, to get those safeties to be a little nosy so we can take a shot or even throw some deep overs. I mean, it's the Nick Chubb effect. So you get him out there once again, you want to give him the ball, but also you want to use the respect that he has around the league from other coaches and coordinators and players as a decoy also.
He certainly came back willing to pick up the blitz and block, right?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. He didn't have no problems with that.
How tough was that one on the goal line? It looked like he was still kind of going through his fake, but he's able to turn enough to get a piece of that guy.
Yeah, that was awesome. And it goes to show you, a lot of times the question is, will he be hesitant, from a player that has a serious injury, or will he be able to let it go? It's two plays in that game you can go back and look at, and you can answer those questions. Of course, the touchdown when he was able to spin back on the knee and hit it, and that play, of course, protecting the quarterback, knowing he couldn't go to the right of him. He had to go left and get back and cut the guy. So he did that in the blink of an eye.
I know you don't coach against him in this matchup, but we've asked so many people this week just about Derrick Henry and obviously being a running back by trade. Just what have you noticed about his game? And
I couldn't hear the last part. So.
Just what have you noticed about Derrick Henry and on the other side of the matchup for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, kind of spoke about the vision already, which I think is second to none. But also just, he's one of those, just you give him the ball, he may get you 3. You give him the ball, he may get you 4, -2. Next thing you know, it's 60. As a big guy like that, you think, okay, when is he going to slow down? All right, you saw him in Tennessee with a bunch of these long runs. All right, man. All right, he's now in Baltimore. He can't go 60 anymore. He can't go 50 anymore. Please. He got it all on film. Seems like he gets better with time.
Yeah, nowadays the running backs are out of the league a lot faster. For him to be doing it at whatever it is, 30, 31,
Yeah.
that says something, doesn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt.
We've seen Pierre take advantage of some opportunities in the last few weeks. What have you seen from him and his growth since you've gotten here?
It's a good question. Talking about his growth, just coming through the building, being able to evaluate film. I saw a player that had juice, had energy, had speed, had quickness, something that we were looking for at the running back position. And he was able to go out there also and dominate on special teams. So to see him go out there, dominate on special teams, be tired out there, still come in and have some second and third down reps was awesome. I got to get more out of him. I got to put him in a position so he can make more plays, and I will. But Pierre's been great.